The film recommended in this issue is the crime film, Arbitrage Trading, directed by Nicholas Jarecki. I'm Robert, a respectable businessman. But now I have two more identities, a swindler and a murderer. The cause of all this starts with a business last year. Last year, a friend told me that Russia has an undeveloped copper mine worth tens of billions. So he and I each invested $100 million and prepared to sell after the copper price rose to make a difference. In order to reduce the investment risk, I also bought a hedge. The investment direction of the two is opposite, so no matter what direction the price changes, I will gain and lose. As Buffett said, don't put eggs in one basket. In fact, this operation has a professional name in the futures market, called arbitrage trading. At first I was making a lot of money, but then the Russian government intervened mercilessly in the market and banned copper exports, and the $400 million I had invested in the company was frozen. I decided to sell the company on a whim and let someone else take the risk. However, who would buy a company with a book loss of over $400 million? Since my company had a good reputation outside, an investment bank owner, Mayfield, now extended an olive branch to me, and as long as everything went according to my plan, I could successfully get rid of this mess. However, at this juncture, the company's evaluation and audit work has not progressed. Before, I borrowed $400 million from a friend to make up for the loss in order to make the book look better. I know this is a commercial fraud, but as long as things go well, others will not find the problem. I promised my friend to pay back the money within 2 weeks, but now it has been delayed for a month, so I broke up with my friend. Recently, there are only 3 things surrounding my life: loss, account making and repayment. I'm almost driven crazy by these things. I decided to find my mistress to relieve the pressure. On that dark night, we drove to find freedom. As I drove, she leaned on my shoulder. We listened to the song. I quickly checked her condition. Unfortunately, she died on the spot. I wanted to call the police, but there was no signal. In a flash, thousands of ideas flashed through my mind. If I call the police, I will be exposed about keeping my mistress. Besides, I can't get away with her death. This will not only destroy my staffing, but also affect the company's acquisition. So I chose to leave the crime scene quietly. I walked less than 100 meters before the car exploded. I simply treated the wound at the nearby gas station and was careful not to leave any trace. I called Blake to pick me up. The next day, the police found me and my wife according to all kinds of unusual commercial relations between me and the deceased, but they got nothing. Then I got the news that Blake was arrested, and I hurried to find a lawyer to bail him, but I knew that the cat and mouse game had just begun. The fierce pursuit of the police has made the acquisition of the company more urgent, and at present the acquirer has not acted. I accidentally learned that the accounting audit of the company had passed 2 weeks ago. Mayfield deliberately concealed the information and slowed down the company's acquisition progress in order to reduce the price as much as possible. I was relieved to learn that Mayfield really wanted to buy my company, so I was sure to negotiate with him. As long as the price is higher than the $400 million I borrowed, I can sell. After several rounds of psychological warfare, we traded at a price of $525 million. The company's acquisition has finally come to an end. At this time, the police began their final offensive. In the court, they provided a surveillance picture with the license plate of Blake, but Blake said that he did not walk that way, which made me suspicious. So after our field test, we found that the police forged evidence in order to let Blake confess me. After the confrontation between the police and my lawyer in front of the judge, the case ended for the sake of both sides' face. After achieving the 2 achievements of selling the company and fleeing the investigation, I think that I can finally return to the normal life. But at this time, my family and I were torn, and the chips on both sides were the dirty benefits I had exchanged for with my life. Although we are ugly inside, for the sake of so-called decency, we continue to listen to the elegant music, stand in the bright spotlight, and enjoy the hypocritical praise and applause.